Today's chat is going to be about Aaron's 7 stone weight loss. He lost, I think it was 3.5 pretty much prior to lockdown, and he lost 3.5 pretty much in lockdown with having the extra time. And with losing that almost 7 stone, he's actually kept it off now for the guts of a year and done a photo shoot without any real prep. So you'll get to see all of that in this video. And if you like these sort of chats, I have other chats in my playlist. So say a Jen on talking about losing that sort of 3 or 4 stone, female fat loss. She set a couple of records with Bar Wars Ireland and ended up taking silver in their competition. Jen could do like weighted chin-ups with 35 kg added and set the record for pistol squats. Chin-up reps I think was her other one. I've also had Andy on. Andy was talking about his pursuit of aesthetics via strength training. So Andy's a really strong dude, great chat with him. I've also had Mike on talking about staying fit over 50 because he's a fit dude and now, you know, 50-ish years of age. And also for our 60-odd-year-olds, there's wee Kevin was on chatting to me. Kevin can pretty much deadlift triple body weight and perform muscle ups for reps. He talks about recovering from a car crash and using strength as his sort of way to recover his body and his mind especially. So lots of content, and I'm just gonna see if Aaron's arrived. We're gonna train and I'm gonna get him into the sweat box for a chat. So see you on the other side of this cool intro.
Hit for my wins, I need my hands. This life is real, if they pretend. Came off the bench, I get it in, I get it in, I get it in. Hit for my wins, I need my hands. This life is real, if they pretend. Came off the bench, I get it in, I get it in, I get it in. I'm on my job, I get it done, but you should know that.
Shameless plug for Gymshark there, because we have this running joke that one of your goals would be a Gymshark medium. And I am now wearing Aaron's old large, his former big boy clothes because they're too big for him. Yeah. But yeah, in today's video we're going to jump in and talk about all of Aaron's sort of stuff, and we're going to start with the early years, the McDonald's kebab years probably.
Cut. Yeah. Claire fell pregnant when I was in first year uni. And I also worked at McDonald's, so it was a perfect storm. And get into bad habits and stayed in bad habits.
So you're a young dad then?
Yeah.
You were a young dad actually?
Well, Lewis is 20 this month.
That's crazy.
No, I can see the finish line, not like you.
And I'm only starting this amateur dad journey, you know.
That's it. So Lewis came along, bad habits during uni, and then finished uni on, did my last exam the Thursday, started work full time the Monday, and the bad habits continued. And I do lead a pretty busy life, no excuses. I run a logistics business. I do long days. I'm away 4 or 5 days a week, or have been up until lockdown. Things are easing out a bit. 60-70 hour weeks is the norm, and very hard to switch off, living out of a suitcase, cars, meetings, hotels, go for a beer, those sorts of things. None of it's good, you know, and you get into that rat race and suddenly you find yourself ballooning, and that ballooning at its worst got to 20 stone 5 in old money.
You're literally one of the busiest guys I know. Like in terms of like having a watch that has emails is ridiculous. So that's a massive part of your journey, is the work-life balance thing. Because I know the amount of times Aaron would have been booking in with me on a Monday or whatever, and I was like, to fly to England. You know, there was a lot of that sort of stuff, and people don't realise that it, like getting in shape and getting the sort of shape that you would have got into recently, is like getting your black belt in the martial art. It's not one of those things that you just turn up 3 months later you're a black belt. People have obstacles in it, and not everyone that joins a jiu-jitsu club gets their black belt. Not everyone that joins a gym does what you've done. But the thing is, being persistent and consistent, and all those other words that end with distant. But being that, you know, you just, no matter what kids and life and work and whatever, it's just showing up. Like, because there a long time you did show up, and we were just maintaining and trying not to go backwards and talking about habits and listen, just tweak this for me and tweak that, and then we were about to get a run at it. Work kicks off, big meetings happen, so it talked to us about being 20 stone 5.
Yeah.
Which is what, 100, that was 130 kg?
About 130 kg. So it was epic, but not in a good way.
Yeah. Oh, I love kebabs.
Absolutely not. Yeah. Just a disaster. I was pushing a 42-inch waist. Walking the top of stairs, I'd been panting, been sweating. I remember being in a meeting in Malmo, seeing pictures afterwards and going, who's that fat bloke? Guess what, it's me. You know, very close to sleep apnea, I would say. Really struggling with sleep. Just general discomfort. Putting the socks on was an effort. You know. And I'd been on and off. You know, Neil's got some horror pictures of me that he stores in the bank. Alright. You know, the before and afters. But you know, there's some horror pictures there. I was back and forward a few times. When you're having those issues around health, sleep, general discomfort, panting, you get to the top of the stairs, you know. And I can reflect on that. I've been in a situation recently where I seen somebody in exactly the same situation, went up a couple of flights of stairs, was panting, was sweating, I thought, God, that used to be me. And it did. You know, that just gets you the resilience and the determination that it'll not happen again. I want to be here in 20, 30, 40 years time. You know,
it's funny that people, in a lot of cases, people think they're indestructible in a lot of ways. And, you know, they could be standing with the belly and the pint and the fag and the work stress, and it's crazy. Like, I'm very conscious of my health because my parents died very young, and I want to be here for my kids. And it's funny where you have to make a decision to say, you know what, this is. I like food and a few beers, but there's a point where you go, right, do I want to be sort of alive here, you know? And it's funny, definitely for me, being in my 40s, like, you know, you do sort of, your outlook changes, and I am a younger dad in terms of, like, my kids are young, you know, but, so yeah, a big part of it is you look at your longevity and you're sort of future-proofing yourself. So on that, I remember one of the big things I said to Aaron, and we sort of talk about this cringy quote, but it's like, why do you want, and I use this all the time now, why do you want a 50 grand car and a 50 pound body? And I remember that was a bit of a sort of thing that we sort of talked about where, because you see this all the time, guys will say like, oh no, I can't afford coaching, or I can't afford to go to gym, can't afford to eat healthy, but I'm picking up a new R8 here on Wednesday, or I've just booked 3 holidays, and you're like, would you not want to be in shape so you can actually enjoy life? Because even being at the zoo yesterday, I was at the zoo yesterday with the kids, and walking up the hills and doing all this sort of stuff, and it's nice to feel fit where you can like skip over a wall and, you know, bounce up the steps, and you know.
I used to hate the zoo.
Yeah, so what? Yeah, give us some of the ideas of the turning points of.
Well, you're overselling me there, because it wasn't £50, it was 50p.
50p body. Yeah,
absolutely. So no, listen, material goods are great. You get sucked into the rat race, and the reality is tomorrow's promised to nobody. You don't know what's around the corner, but if you don't look after your health, it's all a waste of time. And actually, from work perspective, as I've got healthier, I do feel 1,000 times better. I'm more alert, I'm more effective, depending on who you ask. Other people yeah. But you know, you've more energy, you've more ability, you're not as sluggish, you can get on with things. And we've been back and forth, on and off, as Neil had said, nightmare, you know, client.
Worst client ever.
You know, standout memory was, I should have been here at say 3:30 on a day. By 2 o'clock it turned us on the way to the airport early because I had to go to a meeting, it was called. You know, I'm not going to make it. I remember phoning you on the way, and I don't even think we were disappointed. I think it was just almost an expectation at that point.
Yeah, I probably already booked someone else in that time anyway, I don't even know.
Absolutely.
Just throw someone else in there, you know.
So, 2019, penny dropped again. I'm in a bad place, I need to do something about this. I can't keep buying bigger clothes. I'm in exactly the same cycle and the same circle. So, again, bit of a run of things, making good progress. And one of the objectives then was, wouldn't it be good to be in the 16s? I wouldn't want to be any later than that, and so on. And coming through, you know, into 2020, you know, January, February, it was, and I keep old money here as it is, you know, I was in around sort of the 17s, and I thought I was doing okay, and then COVID came along, and a couple of other things happened around life during the course of that year as well, but just thought I need to do something here. but I was chained to a desk 14-15 hours a day, you know, trying to make decisions, trying to keep an eye on what government policy was and do different things and trying to keep the business going, which to be fair, you know, I feel very fortunate it was still going. You know, I have to be humble about that. Lots of people weren't, so I feel very lucky and fortunate that we were still going. And as we came into March, I remember thinking, I can't train. I've got a couple of dumbbells here, I've got a barbell, and I've got a faithful collie called Aslan. You know, but I need to do something. And I just got into a bit of a routine, the mindset, and tried to start moving.
One of the things I talk about a lot is having this sort of fitness and nutrition IQ. So the fact that you've trained for a long time, you've tried to start, at least you were picking up nuggets that were nearly put in the back pocket, where you go, you know what, when I do get a bit of time and I'm not chained to the desk 15 hours a day, I might be able to apply that. So it was like, lockdown was good in a lot of ways, and it was funny the way lockdown fell, where people either just became heavy drinkers, heavy, you know, consuming a lot of food, putting on a lot of weight, or like where I live here, the amount of guys are mountain biking past my house or running past my house. And it was funny where lockdown sort of people sort of went to two extremes, but having that bit of having time, but also having a bit of a fitness and nutrition IQ, because you were getting good momentum. That was that was a worry for me as a coach who has seen this sort of bit of stop starting, where you're like, oh, lockdown's happened here and we've just been getting that momentum. It's just been starting to, like, we're getting ahead, you know, he's getting into a good place here, and then lockdown sort of happens like that March. But once you just got to a certain level, it was like, right, that was just where you needed to get to. And I talk about this, I talked about it in another video about base camp, where for so long you were at sea level and you were just getting your head above water, and you were back in, but then you got to like base camp, and base camp is where you essentially want to hang out, and Everest is like the photo shoot or the holiday physique or whatever it is. But generally base camp's a good place to sit, where you're not having to do anything crazy, it's very sustainable, you can work at that, and yeah, it's a good place to be. So in a lot of ways lockdown was
a positive trigger for me, absolutely. Yeah, it was a chance for me to sort my, you know, self out and get my arse into gear. It started with walking and trips out 5 o'clock in the morning with the dog, you know, and doing 1.789 miles and ending up with blisters all over my feet. I could hardly walk, but it was, you know, I was breaking the habit basically at that point. I just kept going, getting into better habits with the food, making the best out of a couple of crappy dumbbells and a barbell, you know, getting things done, and started to see the scale starting to move, started to see a bit of progress, and just kept at it and thought, I can do this. I now plan most days what I'm going to eat well in advance. You know, I could be planning in the morning and say, this is what's going to happen the rest of the day, this is where my food's coming from. You know, if I'm away I can plan things, but it was just about having that consistency and thinking, right, this is what I'm going to do and this is what I need to do. You know, and Neil talks about base camp. You know, last September really I found myself dropping down, and I was down into the 14s, which was never going to happen for me. And then eventually I tipped down into the 13s. Thought,
yeah,
what's happened here?
So that's, you know, like 7 stone nearly.
Best part of 7 stone. Double XL clothes down to a medium.
Extra medium.
Small.
Jim Shark, if you're watching,
yep.
I'm a large, he's an extra medium. Get the finger
extra
out.
Small. Yeah, there's a few small things hanging around, a bit figure hugging, but hey.
It's crazy.
But you know, it was just, it was routine, it was consistency, and I was into the 13s. The lowest I touched, and I keep coming back to stones and pounds because, you know, that's where I am, but was 13.8, and I was down around the 85 kg mark, which is frightening. Which is
crazy because that's what I am. The fact that we're the same sort of weight.
Yeah, I'm not vertically challenged.
The big questions in fitness and nutrition at the minute, because obviously everyone will want to know what was your diet. For a start, diets work but they don't work. Diets are generally what guys are doing when they do a bodybuilding show or a top end sort of photo shoot, and you have to be quite restrictive. The whole thing about this process was trying to get the lifestyle thing. So again, diets are a very temporary thing. Yes, they get you to Everest, but you'll ultimately come down to base camp. But you're ideally wanting to have it where you have a sustainable approach and a sensible approach. And you mentioned it was the habits and the consistency. So in terms of counting calories, you did count calories?
I do. I'm not strict.
Because the thing with it, like, and I know there's a lot of sort of people get the backs up over counting calories or can't do that the rest of my life, or I don't want to do that, or whatever. You're a profit and loss guy. It's what you do in work. It's numbers, spreadsheets, or whatever. So for some guys, and I know, like you essentially want to get people to eat mindfully, where they don't have to worry about calories or whatever, and they just, I'm a wee bit hungry, I'll eat that. Not so hungry, I'll not eat that. And there is that lovely flow. But for a lot of guys, that takes you to nearly have a bit of a fitness and nutrition IQ in the first place. So doing a wee bit of calorie counting, a wee bit of food tracking, is nice to make you aware, and it's the awareness of stuff where you go, actually biltong's a lot of protein in it, or that's got a lot of calories in it, or I'm maybe eating that too often, and we just, I'll look for a better alternative to that, and that's essentially what you're trying to do. But for someone like Aaron, because this isn't for everyone, again, your life and your journey is very specific to you and your work and you know all the rest of it, but you found the apps good because you are like circles on the phone or the watch and the yeah, and the MyFitnessPal type tracking and stuff that works for you. So yeah, give us an idea of that.
But that's all accountability. That's the reality. That's what it is, because everybody's done it in the past. If something in the FitnessPal, it doesn't count. Guess what it does.
Yeah.
You know. So I find I'm not tracking my food necessarily because I need to, because I do tend to eat from the same group of foods most of the time.
You're very sort of samey.
I enjoy them. It's not because I have to. It's because I enjoy them. If I didn't enjoy them, I'd eat something else.
Because this is a big part of diet as well, where someone could see a photo of me on Instagram eating chicken and broccoli or whatever it is and go, oh, he's so strict with his diet. I actually really love it. I have an air fryer there, it's brilliant for broccoli, and I love chicken and broccoli. Whereas if you're eating something and you're going, oh, I can't stick to this diet, then that's not what you should be doing. It should be enjoyable, sustainable. If there's a bit of tracking in there and it works for you, then that is the right sort of thing. And essentially, that's, I say, with coaching, you're always just problem solving and going, well, maybe this is a good option for him, maybe this isn't, maybe that's a good. So it's one of those things, like you see sort of a lot of people losing a lot of weight at the minute and they're doing some crazy shake type thing, or they're literally a snack bar and a drink and then another drink later on. It's like, where is the long term in that, where if you go to a restaurant or whatever, you know, people, this is a great one where people should never know you're on a diet or you've changed your food massively, because ultimately you should be eating a lot of food, you should be eating food you enjoy consistently or whatever, so you shouldn't be sitting having 3 nuts and half a boiled egg or whatever it is, you know.
No, I'm never hungry, and if I am hungry, I eat.
Yeah.
You know, because that's
what you're meant to do.
But if you try and restrict yourself, you'll just end up binging and crap.
So yeah, in terms of training, we do Aaron does 2 sessions a week with me, and generally they're based on full bodies. We have a bit of tweaks since the photo shoot because of some stuff we want to do, but generally full bodies. I put a lot of now, and this is one of the things, like Aaron has seen my training evolve, my coaching evolve over the years, where you know things come and go. A lot of it's the same stuff. You'll just see like more wee tweaky type things is probably some of that
broke and fix it.
yeah, exactly. So I do a lot of old school basic sort of stuff, but I match that in with the new school sort of science stuff. So we do a lot of the CARs, which is the controlled articular rotations, and you'll see that in fitness in the next couple of years, in terms of not just looking after muscles or movements, but really going after the joint health. Part of that being peels and reels as well, which is some of the it's to build like end range and movement capacity of joints and muscles. And this is a great thing as a coach, where you get to see you go from doing the sort of beginner stuff to now doing, you know, the weighted dips or the chin ups, and you know it's nice to see progression, you know. But in terms of your own stuff, so we do like a Friday and a Sunday, again just based around flights and everything. I go out of my way now to work on a Sunday for Aaron, which
I love him for it.
Yeah, but because of the flights and everything else, and I you know I obviously love what I do, but so yeah, in terms of when you're away, what's the sort of just I know you walk a bit, you do the walking the dog in the morning type stuff, but what about like hotel workouts? And
yeah, I've learned to improvise.
Doing rows with a kettle that's hanging off the door.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I've a set of resistance bands. I can make best use of those in the morning. So my alarm goes off 5:30 every morning. Up, you know, I'll do about 30 minutes of resistance bands. And it's not about what you can't do, it's about what you can do. Bit of movement, different things you can do. It's not the same as a workout, of course it's not. but it's something, and it's
It's
better than
something
nothing.
quite nice about having the good sort of, we do those big workouts and then you have like the movement nutrition, or where you're just nearly, you're just keeping yourself moving over and you know, ticking over essentially, and because you don't always have to beast yourself, and we don't beast ourselves like on those sort of 2 workouts, but it's nice to have that, you know, like your A team workout and your B team workout, and your B team workout is just you being in tune with yourself, probably is as much anything, where motion is lotion and you're just sort of, you know, keeping her ticking over.
I do something every day. That's the reality of it. You know, whether it be walking, whether it be resistance bands in the hotel, or training with you. You know, walking fits in because it clears my head. I do have a busy job. If I'm away, I could be out walking before I get into the office. I go out walking at night. When I'm at home, I say, Aslan, delightful little collie. We do 10 miles without even blinking, and then want to do another 10. You know, and that fits in. You know, we do that. Stand joke. Me and Claire went out for a meal on Friday night. We did a couple of weeks ago as well. Temple Patrick. So had our meal, had a few drinks, great. And then we walked the 4.6 miles home.
Which, you imagine trying to do that 20 stone?
Not a chance.
Not a chance.
And then the next morning we walked 4.6 miles back to get the car again. So
yeah, just shows you.
life's still there to be enjoyed. We do what we enjoy, so relax, you know, a bit more lax in food from maybe a Friday night into a Saturday, but then just clicks back in, I say, and enjoy life.
The testament there is the fact that you're sitting, you went from 130 kg to that 85, 86, and the fact that you're a kg either side of that shows that you enjoy what you're doing, your habits are good, you find your sweet spot, and this is for everyone, that you have found your base camp, right? Coming off that, so you went from sea level to base camp, the photo shoot was your Everest, and I don't even know how the photo shoot thing came about. I have a couple of guys who will do photo shoots, and I did 1 or 2 sort of, because I do a lot of jiu-jitsu now, and I haven't really done the physique type photo thing, but in a while, so yeah, talk to us about the photo shoot thing, and I'll play a wee video in a minute, and you'll see the, actually I'll play it now, let's jump in. Is that line not going in? Yeah, well. So yeah, we snippet of photo shoot there. So yeah, how did that come about, and what was the thought process there?
Well, I'm actually blaming you. You did.
I seen that. I thought that actually.
You did suggest the photo shoot, I say, but I think that was about the accountability for me.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not, you know, so it's not about vanity, you know.
Photo shoots are a funny one. Like you see, photo shoots
not,
get, you know, some guys will slate off a photo shoot, or what, you know. For some people want to climb Everest, like we Kevin, because he's just mad. Some people want to run a marathon. Like see if you said to me, Neil, do you want to run a marathon? I think I can think of nothing worse. But then I compete in jiu-jitsu. I go and get beat up by guys in front of my mates. Like, so everyone has different things that are sort of different goals or whatever it is. I know we were talking about doing a Tough Mudder at some stage, maybe, but so the photo shoot to you was like your marathon, or just that, just something that was quite nice to, as a bit of a marker, and have just something to aim towards, and a bit of accountability. So
absolutely, it was progress, it was accountability, you know. That's where I was, this is where I got to, and guess what, there's pictures. You
know, and then everything's experiences, like you get one shot at life, and you know, it's nice to sort of say, well, I did that, I stepped up, had a bit of a go at that. And again, for us, photo shoot wise, what was different in terms of food and training?
Honestly, not a lot.
Nothing, but yeah, very little. There was maybe, you had an energy drink the morning before or something, just for a bit of a pump. But this is the thing, like when you see people doing photo shoot type stuff and they go, oh, I had to eat 3 bits of chicken every 9 minutes for 12 weeks or whatever, it's like, that's not what it's about. The photo shoot was a representation of how you now look on the day-to-day basis, nearly, from doing just the consistent habits well. And that's probably the sort of summary of everything there, I think.
That is.
Sweet, right, I'm going to sign it off there, and we'll probably end up doing another one actually, because there's so much content. I'm sure a lot of people will be interested to hear like more sort of shizzle, you know, and like who does your legs and stuff, you know.
Yeah, that's for OnlyFans.
Yeah. So so thanks to Aaron for jumping in and having a bit of a chat. We are sweating our plums off in here.
Yeah.
In my YouTube studio stroke garage that I knocked up. And remember to like, subscribe, and check out the other sort of playlist videos of people. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Couldn't do it without you.
Sweet.